everyone, and welcome. I'm Marcie Besecker, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I'm from Clovis, California. Thank you for joining me this evening, and welcome. Today, we are going to be working on the bonus card from Bingo. So I did this last month where I actually did the bonus card before Bingo, so you could see what it is. And the bonus card is my thank you card to you, but I give it to you as a kit instead of me creating the card and putting it in your kit package. And I've heard a lot of feedback that you guys really enjoy having that extra kit. So that's what I decided to do. And this is the card that we're going to be doing tonight. And it was a really fun card. So I'm excited to show you some tips and tricks that I did with that. So we will do that tonight. Bingo is this coming Wednesday, and I still have kits available. There is a link below if you're interested in participating in Bingo. It's a lot of fun. You will not get your kit ahead of time, so don't think, oh no, I'm not going to have my kit in time. You're not going to. Nobody has it. I don't send it out until the day after Bingo. It's my way to, number one, double check, make sure I got everything right. You don't have any missing pieces. Number two, it is my way of you guys just watch how I create, watch if I make any mistakes so you don't do the same thing, and relax and chat and visit and have a good evening. And then you can come back and create at your leisure. This way, a lot of people on Wednesday night, they're not available, but they want the kits. You could still do that. You just can't participate, of course, in the Bingo if you're not online. But basically, you're still paying for the cost of the class or kits. And so you will be able to get that and then come back and create whenever you would like. Hi. Wounded Nancy. Hi, Susan. How are you? Thank you guys for sharing and liking. I appreciate it. Ida, hi. How are you? Nicole, welcome. Carrie, Nell, Sarah, Marva, Carol, hello. Stacy, hi. Welcome, everybody. So yesterday was a full day. We went to football in the morning where my grandson was actually named player of the game. So he was very excited about that. And so that was a lot of fun. And then we stopped at Sam's Deli. They have spumoni ice cream there. It's an Italian deli market. And so they have like specialty items, and that's where we get our prosciutto salami, which is really good. And so we stopped because we're kind of hooked on our spumoni ice cream. So that's a little splurge that I just get a scoop every once in a while, but it's nice to have. Oh, well, everybody has their weakness, right? So we went to do that, and then we went out to dinner with some friends that we have not been able to get with for a long time. And then we came back and played games. So we had a really full but really fun evening yesterday. And so today was craft day. So I had a lot of fun with that. Oh no, Nancy. Well, I hope you're feeling better soon. Hi, Stacy. Thank you for sharing, Stacy. I appreciate that. So anyway, that's Bingo. That's Wednesday. So don't miss out. I do still have kits available. I'm going to tell you the kits, the bundles or stamp sets I'm going to be using. The Ornamental Christmas, Charming Day. So it's kind of a mix and match of Christmas and not. The pattern tags and the gallery blooms. And the pattern tags, we're going to use a lot of those dies in that project. So you're going to get more than one project in that one Bingo. So anyway, and then for Bingo, I'll explain that the night of Bingo. So don't worry about all the details. Just make sure you register and pay before Wednesday, before that evening, because I only make a certain amount of kits and then I cut it off. So the kits are already made. They're already packaged and labeled just like this. So you will get them in. It'll say project 1, project 2, and so on. And so those are already done and ready to go. All right, the next thing I have going, and it is almost over, there's some kits still available, is the Elegant Pines class. It is such a fun set to play with. I had so much fun. I'm realizing that my image here is way big and it's cutting off the name of the class. So let me just shrink that up for you a little bit so you can see everything. Such a fun class. I had such a great time playing with this suite. So I just want you to think about participating in this. You're going to get your money's worth for sure in this class. Oh, it looks like on YouTube it was fine. So I think I just have my screen kind of small, maybe. Sorry about that. Anyway, you're going to get your money's worth and more. I set up this class. I set up the cost. And then I started creating. And boy, did I kind of go crazy. So this is going to be a really great class. So I hope you will participate. It's all fancy folds and then one home decor item that is, that's all I'm going to say. It's really, really awesome. So hopefully you will participate. Isn't there masks along with it? With this suite, not this suite. No, that is, the masks are with the Snowy Delights, I believe is the bundle the masks are with. And I did a card on that a few videos ago. So I did do a project with those, and those were a lot of fun. But the pines one are the snowflakes that look like pine. They have little pine leaves, and it's really, really pretty. So anyway, there is that. I am still doing the flat rate boxes. So if you put an order in with me before I say until they're gone, but I'm going to guess till the end of the month because I still have some boxes left. And so if you want to put an order in with me for $100, that's before shipping and tax, then I will send you a box. So I've just been checking orders as they come in, and then you can get your box. I will get that to you in the mail. So I'm just trying to make my screen a little bigger here because I am seeing, there we go. Okay, I'm seeing something different on my third-party program, so I need to fix that. Backing up to the Elegant Pines Snowflake class really quick, I mentioned before, if you purchase that suite from me, then you will get the class for free, but you must fill out the registration form because that's how I know that you want to participate and that you're going to purchase the kit, because that's one of the choices. And then when you put an order in, I will go look at your order. Once I verify that you did purchase that suite, then I will put you down as marked paid on that class. Okay. So number one, you must register so I know you're taking the class. And number two, make sure you check on there that I'm going to purchase it from you. And then we can get that marked paid, and then you're all good to go. All right. So let's get busy and get going on our project here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm kind of far away here. There we go. All right. So this card was so much fun to create, and I've got some tips and tricks on it. So let's just get started. Here's your kit. This is what it's going to look like. So for those of you participating in bingo, you will get this kit. So be careful opening it because you've got this little fire, this little tiny moon, and your logs there. Okay, so we're going to set those aside for just a minute. We're going to slide everything here off to the side, and we're going to open it up on the inside. And I just went ahead and left it blank. I'm assuming this could possibly be a masculine card. Doesn't have to be, but I need masculine cards. So I'm thinking I need to start making a few more of those. So you will be seeing some more from me coming. So let's just go ahead. I don't always decorate the inside if it's a masculine card, unless it's a set that I just happen to have like DSP. Now I could add an extra set of trees in there or something. I could definitely do that, but I would probably stamp them in. And because this is bingo, there's not always stamps available. I don't assume you have the stamp set. So that's one of the things about my bingo is I try to create projects with just dies and maybe a sentiment. You can choose the sentiment of your choice. But this is such a great set. I really like these sets with the scene. All right, so of course I like to put my mat down here so I can see my corners, and then I can see really well to give myself that little edge all the way around. So right about there. All right, so there's our edge. Now, the very first thing I want you to do is slide everything off and grab. This is Secret C, and it's two-sided, okay? Oh no, I'm sorry, this one is not. The water is, and I'll show you that when we get to that point. But this is Secret C, and it's the cardstock. We are going to take our Wink of Stella, and so I'm going to push everything out of the way and probably cover it up because I have some white paper here. I'll just cover it up because I don't want it to flicker all over our projects, right? And so, move my moon. We're going to take our Wink of Stella, and we really just need it on the top part, but we're going to just kind of put it there. Bring that down. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I take my bone folder, and I'm just going to, oh, wrong way. I'm just going to tap, but you're going to need to kind of squeeze a little out. I need to get some on my tip here. Oh, this says brush only because this is empty. We're pretty close to empty, but I do use this to dip in ink and use it. So there we go. Yeah, one with a little bit of, there we go. I was like, wow, I'm surprised it wasn't doing any. I'm going to get a little bit more out. Just so I can kind of start coming down this one might be close to out too. Down the barrel here. Well, all right, I'm just going to keep tapping because this is pretty empty. But you just want some nice stars. So I'm just going to tap. And you can see it's just little because I don't have much in there, but that's okay. It still works. So there's our night sky. Okay, so I'm just going to set that aside while I wipe all this mess up. It just gives it just a little bit more interest there. Make sure you wipe your bone folder off because you'll be getting sparkles all over your hands for a while. All right, so now you have your sky. We're going to let that dry. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in, I'm going to lift up these papers now. I don't need them. We are going to bring in my grid sheet or scrap paper, whatever you have. Let's bring in our fire. All right, so here's our fire. And this is out of Darling Duckling. I'm really going to come in a little bit more. There we go. Things are going to be a little bit close on some of this. So, and what I did is I took the dark peach pie and I just going over the lines of the fire, just where they put those lines in there. Okay, so can you see that? I just kind of drew over the lines. And now we are going to take our Wink of Stella again, and we're just going to brush it just lightly, not a whole lot. I'm just kind of going where those lines are, but not neatly, just so it gives you some sparkle on your fire, okay? All right, so we're going to slide that over and let that dry. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in our logs, and I'm going to grab my pumpkin pie, not pumpkin pie, my pecan pie, the light one, and we're going to take it and we're going to go over the log and just go over the lines to give it just a little depth. Remember that the alcohol inks will lighten up just a little bit. All right, so now we've got that log with just a little bit of detail on there, and that'll lighten up. But we're going to let's go ahead and glue these together now. So that can be drying. So I just added a little bit of glue at the bottom because we're going to add dimensionals on the back anyway. And let's go ahead and add the logs to the fire. I'm going to wipe off my extra glue there that's kind of coming out. All right, so I'm just going to leave that like that. We'll just set that aside. Let that dry. Okay, the next thing, let's go ahead and do our label. While we're right here, I'm going to do all this part and then we'll work on everything else. So our label, this stamp set is so cool. So here are all the dies we're using. Now you're going to notice that this one has the moon with little holes in it. So if you wanted to, you could do this and then take your die and die cut the sky and then maybe put your darling duckling behind so that it will poke through where these little holes will poke. Okay, so you could do something like that, and so that it'll give it just that little different look. And especially if you don't have Wink of Stella, but if you have Wink of Stella, this is really nice to do, and you just, have your little moon there. So that's what I decided to do for you guys. Because again, we have to assume you don't have the set, so I'm going to do as much as I can of that. All right. So on our stamp set, see, here's the trees that we could put on the inside. This is clouds. And honestly, this could look like rocks. You could, I think it's clouds, but you could do it as a rock and then like some water next to it, or green, like that's a bush with some water. So I think it could look like several different things, but like here's some water right there. But we're going to use Let the Blank Begin, and we're going to use Adventure. Okay, let the adventure begin. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in Misty Moonlight. And I want to center my sentiment first. All right, so we're going to take the Let the Beginning. It's one stamp. So ink that up. And then I'm going to just center that right here. Let the Beginning. And then I'm going to switch colors. And we're going to go to Old Olive. Of course, this is Crumb Cake. And the punch is Timeless Label. And I believe that's either on the, I think it's Last Chance right now. So hopefully it still is Last Chance, because a lot of these cards that I start making for bingo, I start making and then sometimes things are already or going on to Last Chance. So, but when I do this, I sometimes think, you know what, people probably still have these and would love an idea of what to do with it. All right, so then you're just going to take your adventure and put it right in the middle of the card. And you're going to notice on this die that it's really close to going off. And the T is also very close to the end of the. So as long as your Let the Begin is centered pretty close, your adventure is going to turn out pretty close to being centered. So let's set that aside. And then let's start on our card. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to take our Darling Duckling and just set it on top of, I'm going to confirm that this is Darling Duckling because for whatever reason, yeah, it's crushed curry, everybody. I thought that does not look like Darling Duckling. It is crushed curry. Okay, so that's crushed curry. So we'll set that aside. We will be building our scene up on this paper here, which will go right on top of here. Okay, see it like that. But You want to make sure that your scene fits so you have that still that edge of the crushed curry along the outside, and you want it to be straight. So we're going to just build here. So what we need to do first is color our stuff. We need to give everything a little bit of interest. So here's the water that I was telling you about with the two-tone. So it's dark on this side, but light on this side. So you can tell here how nice it looks, the contrast of the night sky. And by the campfire, you can see the water and it's a little bit lighter, which is kind of cool, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use blending brushes. Let's do our mountains first. We're going to take we have a large mountain. Okay, so this is this die right here. Okay, and then we have this die right here. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, right here. Okay, so there's two different mountains. So give yourself enough paper. We know that this is going to go the width of our card. Okay, so we cut it at the width of our card. I'm going to back out a little bit more. I don't think you guys need to be this close now. And I want you to see, kind of see everything. All right, so that's what that's what we cut it to when we were doing our die cutting, so that we knew that it would fit on there. If you want to do it over a little bit, that's perfectly fine, because then you can cut it to be exact. All right, so let's bring in our pecan pie. I'm going to move this over there. I'm going to bring in another silicone mat to put this on here, because then it doesn't slide around. It kind of stays a little better than on the glass. And I'm just going to give it some interest. So see right here the difference. If, like, this is just pecan pie and this has a little bit of color to it, and it actually almost kind of makes it look like you have a little bit of shadows going on. So I liked that. So I'm just going to start off, and then those lines are going to also help pick up some color. And then that's where you're going to get a little bit of that color difference there. It's going to pick up some of that color, which is really cool. Oops. And that's okay, because you'll see how we layer these up, and then one goes behind the other. So we'll get that to all work. And this is going to have a dimensional on it. So, but be careful of your edges. All right, I want a little bit more. And I don't have to do the whole thing, because a lot of it will be tucked in behind. So there's that. And then we want to do this one. And this one's even going behind that one. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker. All right, so there's that one. So that is going to go back behind this one. So that's good. And you don't have to do a whole lot of color. I just like to do a little bit, just to give it a little bit of color. So we're going to go to Old Olive next. And I'm doing the lighter green before the darker green. All right, so we've got our two pieces here. So we have this piece here, which we can cut off when we, kind of get an idea and build our scene. So give yourself some room. This one's just going to tuck in behind the water, so it can be shorter, as long as you have enough room to glue. So we're going to add, this one's in the back farther, so I'm going to make it a little darker. I'm a little more braver on this one. That one I was like, oh, I'm not sure what I wanted to do and what it was going to look like. And now I'm like, oh, I should have made those a little darker. All right, so I'm going to make them a little darker, because it is like an evening scene. And you're not going to even see that part, so I'm not too worried about that. And then we've got this one. And I use the same blending brush for both of my greens. So I do the light one first, even though I go on there with Mossy Meadow next. I usually take a tissue and wipe it off, and then that way whenever I use it next, it really doesn't matter what green I'm using. But I do keep my blues and my teal type blues and my bright blues separate. All right, this one's going to come down a little bit more because it's in the front. Although I believe we're going to cut some of the bottom portion off. I just want to kind of tone it. See the difference right here? Oh, it looks way darker on the screen than it is in person. There we go. All right, so there are those. There's our greens. And now we're going to go to, and I don't need to wipe this off because we're going to Mossy Meadow. And it is darker, so I don't really mind with this going into the Mossy Meadow ink pad. If you rub off so much of it, like look, I mean, there's a little bit on there, but not a whole lot, which is what's great about the blends, the blending brushes. Okay, so now I'm going to come more from the bottom up because number one, I don't want as much on the top, but I also don't want to bend my little tips. So I'm just going to kind of brush like that. Okay, so we're just getting a little bit of color on them. Just to kind of, and it kind of picks up a little darker on the edges, so it looks a little more like a shadow around it, I think. Well, this is really hard to see on the TV. So just give yourself some little bit darker trees. All right, we'll set that aside. And then we have our other one. Now you want to be careful. You don't want to get it too dark. See how wet my Mossy Meadow is? So I'm just going to come in. I'm just going to use kind of what's on here because there's quite a bit because my Mossy Meadow is pretty dark. All right, so there's that. And I think we are good. You don't need to do anything with the water. Leave it like it is. Now, if you wanted to, you could definitely bring your Secret Sea and put like some dark around it, but I kind of liked it like it is, and I don't want to cover up my sparkle from my Winkostella. Wipe this off and make sure I don't have any on my hands. All right, now I'm going to throw this away. I don't need that to be all over. We're going to bring back our fire. And I'm just going to put a dimensional on there now so I can set it aside. There it is. My pokey tool. I'm just going to do one large one because I want both of them to have adhesive on them and together. All right, so there's our fire. We'll set that aside. Uh-oh. Where did my moon go? The one thing I said, don't lose your moon. Oh, no. Well, I may have lost my moon. Oh, here it is. I found it. All right, moon and fire. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is let's bring our sky in. And now I kind of lay everything out. Now, if you notice right here, I have some of the trees here, but I have some trees back here and back here. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put my mountains on here. Right? And we're going to just put those like right here. Let's just get an idea of where those are going to go. All right, we know our green grass is going to go here. We know our water is going to go here. So we know that that green and this water is going to align. So I'm going to glue those together. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add our glue. And I'm not worried about the left and right. If we need to trim that down, we will in a little bit. But I'm going to glue this. And you don't need a whole bunch. You just kind of need enough to put it together. You want to make sure your watermarks are upward. Okay. And so I'm just going to add because it's on this side and this side's hidden, I'm going to add it to see how the grass goes right towards the edge right there? Let me see. I'm going to try. My camera, for some reason, lost everything this weekend. Can you believe that? Like, I had to redo the whole thing. So it's kind of dark. I'm going to lighten it up. Okay, that's better. All right, so see how the grass goes to like, or the bush goes to right about there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to about right there, so that that bush goes to the edge, but you don't want to go past this edge because you know that's the length of the card, right? So yeah, the water is the length of the card. So now we know that this is good and we can trim that piece off, but we'll do that last. All right, so that's together and that's okay. I'm not going to put dimensionals on anything yet until we know what we've got going. I mean, to adhere it all together. All right, so let's bring this back in. All right, we know that these two are going to go together. So I'm going to go ahead and we are going to put dimensionals right here. So let's do small dimensionals. And I'm going to put them, I like to put them with the line side down. And you're going to have more adhesive on them, so don't worry about the back, not having enough or whatever. It'll be fine. All right, so then this is going to come up like this. All right, so we're going to go ahead. Let's take these off. All right, so I want this to go right up to the edge. So I'm going to bring this corner up to here, but yours might be cut just slightly different. But so I'm just going to do it like that because we could cut this down too because you don't want a whole bunch of extra. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut not all of it. You definitely want some at the bottom. And this one just happens to be a little long. So I'm going to cut it like this. I still have plenty of space down here to adhere it or do whatever you need to do with it. But I'm going to cut mine down a little bit. And you can tell right here, mine's cut to just past the water. And so you really don't need that much. So see, that's about right where I had it before, really close. All right, now for your trees. So let's take, we have this and we have this. Now for your trees, these trees, I'm going to do 3 trees poking out of the side over here. So that's these 3. Then I'm going to have 3 trees up over here on the left. So if you lay this down, that tree is going to be gone. And you only want a little bit in the middle. So I'm going to start with these 3, which are going to look different than this, because that's just how I did it when I did my trees. But I am going to, my scissors, I'm going to trim that little pokey edge off right there. And then I'm going to go right here to those 3 trees. Let's work with just a little bit of trees at a time. Make sure I see what I did. I put dimensionals on these. So here's half dimensionals right here. And I'm going to go up that tree, this tree. You might not be able to go to the top because there's not a whole lot to put a dimensional on, but you could do pretty much like that. I wouldn't even worry about the rest because other things are going to adhere and it's going to be fine. And you might end up putting one down there, but you don't have to for now. I'm going to take this now because I know that this is going to go here. I'm putting a dimensional on top right here. Okay. So I want this dimensional And actually, I'm going to put another one or a little piece. I'm just going to put a mini one right there because I don't want that edge to break off. When you do your die cutting and you're cutting, sometimes in these little edges, you might end up catching one like I did there. So just make sure that I just put a little dimensional there and it'll be fine. All right, so we're going to take this off because why not have more to help us hold on to it. We're going to take this off. And let's put these towards the edge of our image. So wherever you're thinking those trees are, and mine are behind and just like right there. Okay. So you just want to make sure your trees are going up straight. Okay. So there's that. And now we're going to do trees on the edge, but let's look here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 right here in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, think about what you want over here. I kind of want taller ones over there. In the middle, I really don't care. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think I'm going to cut 6 right here. Okay, so the next 6 to be in the middle. And then these tall 3, so cut off those other 2. And then those are going to go, so set these aside for a minute. These are going to go on the side of this mountain. Okay, so you can see that we're going to put 3 over here and 3 over here, but you're going to have the tall ones kind of in the way, so it doesn't really look like, oh, 3 and 3 is too symmetrical. I even thought you could add them kind of in the middle if you wanted, like these couple that you cut off. If you wanted to, you could, you know, put them back there, but nah. All right, so let's take another dimensional. Okay, so this is up on an extra layer because you already put dimension here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dimensional, but it's going to be behind this. All right, so we're going to put a dimensional in the back. I'm going to do the same thing on the trees that I can. I'm going to add a little half of a mini dimensional. And I just go up as high as you can. And just kind of give it that extra right there. All right, I'm not taking those off yet. We are going to go here and we're going to glue them on the back of this mountain. Okay, so just get some glue. And you want to make sure that edge and that solid piece is down below because you want it to look just like trees, right? Right, so there are your other trees. So now that can be set aside. All right, so now we have, actually that is the back. So let's go ahead and bring that back. We can put that on here. And then we can add this up here and then be thinking about your grass. Do you want a lot of grass? Do you want a little bit? I want less than this. So I'll tell you about what the size mine is. Oh, how fun, Tashana. All right, so this is going to go at like 1 1/4 is what I want. Let me see what I did on this one. I got my big ruler this time. Let's see. So the top of that is about, yep, 1 1/4 is what I did. So I'm going to go 1 1/4. So have this piece go on the 1 1/4. All right. And then just cut that down. Okay. Because you want your grass area, but it doesn't need to be so much. If you really want to see a lot of your sky. So we're going to take this now. And we are going to, let me just double check and see if I glued. I did glue up to here. And I did glue, do dimensionals here, but this is glued. So we're going to put dimensionals on the back of the front grass area. We're going to put a dimensional here. And I'm going to do one like right here. You could do small ones if you wanted, and right there. But the rest is going to be glue. So we are going to take this and our water. This is going to go on here, on top of the water. So the water was measured so that you could put this right on top of it with your dimensionals. And you can bring that down as much as you want to go on the front. So we're going to take this off. Let's put our water and our mountains. That's the top part. And you want your mountains down a ways. So let's do that. And this. Just kind of get an idea where you want to put this. And then you're going to adhere them onto your water. All right. I want these water to be seen right there. So I'm going to grab that. All right. I want to look at the edge of this and my water right here to get an idea. So I'm going to hold that and go to the edge and the edge. So just about like that. Okay, so I still want to see the water. So give yourself plenty of room. And now we're going to go ahead and we can glue this part, but we still want to put dimensionals on this part. So you're basically putting dimensionals on the top parts of things. Okay, so we're going to put our dimensionals again. I'm going to do it here, 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 right? And the rest is going to be glued. But now we need to adhere it to our mountains, but we need to add our trees first. So now we're going to add our trees. So see why we did Mossy Meadow is you want to see your trees separate from your grass. All right, so just see about where you want those. And I should have thought about it because you have your dimensionals here, but this is going to go onto your dimensionals and this is going to glue onto your mountains. Okay. All right, so let's do this and think about where you want these at. And I want them down a bit. I want my grass to really show, so I'm going to go about there. Okay, so I took off my dimensionals so I could do that. And then now we can kind of figure out our spacing. And now what I'm going to do is I am, again, put your mountains. This is going to go at the bottom. All right, so that's at the bottom of just your blue. We're going to tuck our mountains back here. All right, but now we need to add our tree. So this is not adhered yet. We need our trees, and our trees are going to go, I think I put them in the front. It's been a while. Let me just double check. Oh, they're right behind here. So right here is where the trees are. So you can make them go down as far as you want. And I believe what I did is I cut them. You're not going to see them anyway. I want, if you look right here, I want to see these trees and these mountains right here. So you want to kind of really tuck that in. So I think I went down farther because your sentiment's going to go over that anyway. So just keep making them down to, and that's good right there. So I'm going to adhere those there, but we're going to put dimensionals towards the bottom part of the tips. So we're going to go with the small dimensional, the minis. There's a spot right here that's solid. And then there's a spot like right, I think I did it right here. That's solid. Okay. And then because there's a lot of holes there, you want to make sure you don't see your dimensionals. So there's some spots you can put it in. All right. So we are going to put this down here. And we are going to, there's no dimensionals right here. There's up here and down here. So we are going to put these right here. And they don't have to tuck all the way in. Remember, we're putting our sentiment on top of that. All right, so let's put our trees. All right, so pick those up. Bring those in. And tuck them down as much as you can. But there's dimensional right here, so you can find right there. Okay. All right, so there's our tree. So look at, there's our scene that's going on here. Oh, do you guys, I have sound over here. I can tell that my sound's working. Is everybody else sound working? Okay, good. All right. So then, now you're going to glue everything down, okay? Except your mountain, these mountains up here. This is going to have a dimensional behind it. You want a dimensional here. So even though this is behind this, they're glued together. So you want to add your large dimensionals and give yourself, so your mountain is kind of dimensional. And so I'm going to put one here. So see, if it was on a card base, that's it. They're all the same. All right. So, and let me cheat and look here again real quick. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. All right. So now we can glue this down. So look how pretty that is. Now we're going to put this down. All right. We do have that little piece that we're going to cut, which is why you want to do this before you adhere it to your crushed curry. Right now, this scene is smaller than this one. Look what I did. I mean, it's not a whole lot. It's going to go to about right there. So the mountains, I moved down a little bit, and I actually am fine with it. I like it like that. So it's whatever you want. I did cut more out. I wanted it a little bit more condensed. I didn't really plan it, but I do like it. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to glue it all down. We got to take all of our backing off first. So remember, when you're doing it, don't put your dimensionals on top of each other. So they're layering up, like right here in the front, they're up here, right here, and then these, and then everything, even though the layer may have a dimensional, it might be moved, they're not on top of each other. Okay, except I can't get this little guy off. Nicole, you were just trying to scare me. Okay, oh, one more. All right, so now take your piece and you want to make sure you're right aligned up at the bottom and the side that's straight. Okay, so that is all. Oh, look at what I just did. Oh, I didn't put glue on. Oh, okay, so that's why it didn't, it moved on me. All right, eek. Okay, easily take your dimensionals off so you don't tear your little trees or your sky. Oh, darn it. Darn it. Okay. All right, we're going to do something else. We're going to leave it like that because I am tearing my sky. And then I'm going to trim that off. So let's trim that first. Silly me. So it's going to be a tad off, but I didn't add my, there we go. I didn't add my adhesive. Got me all flustered about the sound. All right, so we're going to add our adhesive here and even here. Okay. And add that all down. All right, and now we're going to cut that little piece of green off. So now we're all good. All right, now we need to add it to our crushed curry, which remember the size is going to be teeny tiny bit off because I just took these off. Right, so we'll do that. And we are going to do that with seal. So remember, when I do bingo, I have to try to assume you don't have a stamp set. So I try to do it to where you can just add a sentiment that and you can use any sentiment. If you don't have this sentiment that we're using, use whatever you have. All right, we're going to add that. All right, there we go. So now we're going to add this to the front of the card. Remember, the first thing you want to do is do your Wink of Stella because you don't want it to be all over the mountains, although then it could look like it's snowfall. But if you were wanting to change it to a wintry scene, but you really don't want your sky on top down here, right? All right. Now we need to add our little fire over here. Get all my mess out of the way here. All right, let's add our fire. Now, I did not add a half of one, but I've already got some cut, and I don't think it'll get caught, but maybe I put one on here. Oh, I think I did. But I think putting a small half one up here, and see how the flame curves this way? Then I would curve your dimensional that way too, if it can get fit on there. And that's a little bit big, so I'm gonna take the tip off here and then move that down. Just to give it that little added reinforcement right there. I don't want my flame tip to get all bent. All right, here we go. There's our fire there, our campfire. All right, now we need our moon. Can't forget our moon. So I'm going to use my take your pick tool so I can pick up my moon and do just the tiniest. So tiny that it's going to my glue. All right, so I did my glue. And now I'm just going to put it up here in the sky. All right. All right, so there's our moon. And now here's our sentiment that we did. And so what we're going to do is we are going to take our ribbon, and I'm just going to do one strip of seal. And I'm going to take my ribbon, and I want to start it up at the top left, just about like that, and come down and go back up about here, come back down. So I'm going to come back up right about there, come back down. So it's a nice way to add ribbon for a masculine card, but it is easy enough to where it doesn't have to be super fancy. And we have our trees sticking up. Now see, my trees are a little low for my sentiment. I mean, you could add it somewhere else. I wouldn't want to cover the scene up. So we're going to go down here. What we're going to do is we're going to make this a little smaller. So, you know, guide yours where you want. I didn't think about the sentiment. But we're going to make it just a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to cut that off. And then I'm going to go down here pretty close to the bottom. That's going to go in the envelope just fine. But I want to see that tree. So I am going to add my dimensionals. So this is why when I like to do bingo, you can see that I did this, and you might be like, oh yeah, no, I want mine to be higher. So you can see your trees up here more. Now I could take those off and move them up, because once you add this guy on here, it doesn't really matter. But let's see where my dimensionals are. I don't want it to tear anything. Let's just see if it'll work. Sorry. It's weird. Remember I had that cough and it's just kind of lingering. My results came. I have nothing wrong with me. Just a cough. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about that. All right, so we're gonna put that right here. You can see the trees. I'm not worried about it. But if you do want them up higher, I'm gonna do 3. Let me tell you why. Because I did my adhesive, my seal on here, and there are spots that are still sticking up. So if I put this on the card and in mailing or whatever, if the center got smushed down, this is going to hold the sentiment up, but this one might get stuck on your seal that peeks out behind the ribbon, and then it's going to stick to your card, and you don't want that. So I'm going to put that extra one there, and I usually kind of put one in the middle anyway, but just that's another reason why I would do it. All right, so I'm going to go over here. I want to cover this up. And I'm going to go pretty close to the edge, but you want to make sure your spacing here is even, because I want to cover that tree up there, but I also want to still see all of my scene. Okay, so there we go. There is that. And our card. And then this is where I was trying to pull up my tree. But you don't, I mean, you could put a dimensional here at the very top. Let's just do that because I do have those little half ones. And there is a space right there that I could do it. So what I'm going to do is take off the top of my dimensional, then take this, go over. And now you could use the black dimensionals. This is a perfect spot because there's a dimensional right here. So I need 2 of them actually. Right, and that's right at the tip of that tree by itself. It needs another one. All right, so there we go. There. That's better. All right, so there we go. So that is the bonus card for bingo, which is this coming Wednesday. So like I said, this is your thank you card for participating in bingo. So I send you this kit. And then you can come back and create this video. So it's kind of just like the rest of the bingo cards. You will not have your kits night of bingo, but you can come back and watch the night that I did bingo and see all the cards and create your projects with the kit. Now, you can also remember, if you do like your mountains and everything a little smaller like this, you can also use a smaller label. And there's all kinds. I mean, cheers to another adventure, another journey, you know, whatever. Just breathe and take it slow. Let's see, is that one stamp set? That's one stamp. Just breathe and take it slow. If you wanted to change up your colors with that, what I would do is put it on your block and then use your markers and then color the middle one separate. That's where I'm going to miss my markers, is if it's one stamp set, then or one stamped image, then that's where the markers come in, is to be able to stamp part of it in one word, or do, you know, rainbow color or multiple colors or whatever on your stamp. So that is going to be one of the biggest reasons I'm going to miss markers. So anyway, so there you are. There's one a little more the higher mountains, and one's a little lower. So just kind of figure it out, you know, what you like, and there you go. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Tashana. I appreciate that. How did you get the custom take your pick tool? It's, when I was at either Leaders or On Stage, I don't remember. I want to say On Stage because I think it was this year. there was a presenter and she was using hers, and it was black, and because it's glittery, you can't really tell, but it's glittery. And you could see it on the screen on the monitors that it was glittery. So I texted her and said, where did you get that? And she gave me the information. So I'll try to find the information and then I will let you know. Yeah, Marva, I'm always looking for masculine cards. I even have the two older grandsons that have birthdays, and I'm like, I gotta find, cards for them. And this would have been perfect because they are in Montana, and I would, oh, you know what else you could do is you could take the deers and put them like, behind the water, like over here, put the deer over there. That'd be really cool because they see animals walking around in their backyard and stuff all the time. So that would have been kind of cool, is even behind this bush back here, and put those deer we have. I think they would fit that size, but that would be kind of a cool idea too. But see how you could see that white dimensional right there? I probably should have put black ones on those because you can't see when you're looking directly at it. But anyway. So that is your bonus project for bingo. So thank you so much for participating. And if you haven't participated and you'd like to, there is a link below. Bingo is this coming Wednesday night. And you can come, enjoy, watch the projects. The kits are mailed on Thursday. And they will be going to you. And then you can create all your projects at your leisure. This coming Sunday, I will not be here because I will be visiting my granddaughter in Oregon. So I will not be here. The following Wednesday, we are coming back Tuesday night. So fingers crossed, I will be here that Wednesday with, I have no idea what. I will try to come up with something and have it ready to go, because the project I had before ready to go a couple of weeks ago, but then we kind of switched schedule a little bit, is already on the last chance and I think has already left. But I'm thinking I may still do the video for you. It was a thank you card last month or a month before with the cone flower. And so I was going to do that, but it's already gone. But I'm thinking you guys probably have that stamp set. So that's the day I'll probably do that one if I don't get a chance to get something together. Oh, you are so welcome. You are welcome, everybody. So thank you so much. I'll see you Wednesday night. Have a great rest of your weekend. Laundry time for me, of course. I'll see you then. Bye, everybody.